Good evening, believers. How are you doing today? This is Love Coach Dasha coming to you today for the Healing Hour Live. It has been so long. It has been a minute. I have moved. You see, I'm in a new space. I got lots of things going on, so I wasn't able to come back when I wanted to, but here I am with you live to talk to you about healing and reconciling after infidelity. You have been cheated on. If you are going through that, but you want to stay, you feel like this is your person, you love them, you really would like for this to work out. I'm here to tell you how to do it, all right? Because I've been through it. I have been through it myself. I've been married almost, oh goodness, what is it, 24 years? I think it is now. I have a hard time remembering sometimes. But we had gone through infidelity like the first 4 years of our relationship. It was a mess, all right? But he was still my person. I knew he was my person. I was sure of it. And I wasn't ready to just let it go just because he was being an idiot. So I came up with the dreams formula, how to heal and reconcile after infidelity. And I am here to share all of that with you so you understand exactly what you need to do that you can do all on your own. You don't need to wait for anybody to help you with this. You can heal and you can start to reconcile without feeling like you're being a doormat, without feeling like you're losing all of your control and all of your autonomy. You are not, okay? You have been through this trauma, and we've got to treat it like a trauma to be able to get past it, all right? And that's what we're doing. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the dreams formula today, and if you would like a copy of the dreams formula, put path in the comments, PATH in the comments. You'll get my bot to send you a copy of the dreams formula so that you can review it and you can figure out exactly how to get past this step by step by step. Okay. All right. So let me see. It's been a minute since we did this. I'm excited to be back. First things first is we've just got to talk about the fact that this has been a trauma for you. People don't consider that being cheated on is such a trauma. They think that it is something in a different category, but it's not. It is a trauma. It is something we are trying to heal from. It is something that was devastating to us in the moment, and it left lingering effects on us. So, what we've got to do is start to mitigate some of those effects. All right. So, what we are going to do is talk about how to deal with this trauma a little bit at a time, little pieces of it. That's so funny over there on YouTube. You said I love fishes on dishes. That's what you wanted me to say. Funny. All right. Anyway, we are going to talk about the very first thing that you need to do to be able to start to mitigate this pain that you're in. And the very first thing that you can do for this trauma is to deep breathe. Have you been doing your deep breathing? I need you to do your deep breathing, okay? I need you to be starting with that right this minute and then carrying that through. People don't take that as seriously as they should. Every client that I have, that is always the first thing I go to. If they call me and they're freaking out or they text me and they're having a hard time, I'm like, have you done your deep breathing yet? You have to calm yourself. You have to center yourself. You have to tell your brain that, hey, this is not an emergency right now. I am not in any danger right this second. It's okay. Look at the way I'm breathing. And if you do that enough times, you convince your brain that actually, oh, you're not in any danger. It's okay. So we've got to practice that. I want you to be doing your deep breathing 5 times a day, okay? Set an alarm, put it in your phone, make it be a priority. I used to work with a doctor who would do a mindful minute like 5 times a day, and it just so happened to be when he was trying to get a report from me, but he would stop whatever we were doing and set his alarm and spend that minute just being in the moment, focusing on his breath, focusing on his thoughts. It did not matter what we were doing, okay? And it doesn't matter for you either. You can take that moment for yourself. When I saw him do that, I was like, hey, he is taking that moment for himself, even though, it's a minute out of my day. But I was like, well, shoot, let me go ahead and start being mindful at the same time, too. Let me take a couple deep breaths while we're sitting here waiting for this moment to pass. So if you're doing this for yourself, this is self care. This is taking care of yourself minute by minute as you are trying to navigate this trauma, okay? So we're going to do our deep breathing together. What I want you to do is breathe along with me. I will guide you. You'll catch on to this quick, okay? What we do is 4-7-8 breathing. We're going to blow out, try and empty our lungs, get that all that carbon dioxide out of there. Then we're going to inhale through your nose or through your mouth, whichever works for you, for a count of 4. Then we're going to hold that breath for a count of 7. And then we're going to blow out that breath like we are blowing out an entire cake full of birthday candles for a count of 8. Okay. When we do this, we are giving our body that oxygen that it needs. We're blowing out excess carbon dioxide because if you have excess carbon dioxide in your bloodstream, it tells your brain that you're in danger. So there must be something wrong if the carbon dioxide level is up. So if you can regulate that, bring that down, it automatically tells your brain that you're okay. And when you hold the breath and use that oxygen, that for that time that you're holding your breath, your body has a chance to grab hold of some of that oxygen and send it around your body. If you and immediately you didn't have a chance to use that oxygen that you just breathed in. Okay. All right. So we're going to do our deep breathing together. Come on and join me. Why don't you? First things first, I want you to blow out. Make the noise. Inhale through your nose. 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Blow out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Blow out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Last time. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Blow out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Beautiful. How do you feel when you do your deep breathing? There should be a physical change. The trauma that you are experiencing is not just like a mental thing. This is a physical thing that is going on in your body. So if you can mitigate some of the physical effects of it, you start to feel better. You may yawn. You may feel a little bit more wired. You may feel like your head cleared. Put it in the comments. Whatever it is, however you feel when you do your deep breathing, put that in the comments. Let me know about it. All right. All right. Second thing, I ain't even check and make sure everybody on Facebook can see me. I am live here on YouTube. I am on my Love After Cheating Facebook group live, and I am also in my Love Coach Dasha Facebook page live. Okay, so I'm all over the place. If you want to catch me, I'm out here. Okay. All right. Refresh. Let me see. Make sure I can see everybody. If you have questions, comments, thoughts, complaints, anything about trying to heal and reconcile after infidelity, I got you. Put it in the comments, okay? All right. Let's see. Okay, I can see myself on the Facebook group. Lovely. All right. So the second thing that we're always going to talk about when we get together, okay? This is a trauma. Treat it like a trauma by doing your journaling. Have you been doing your journaling? If you have not been journaling about this painful experience that you have gone through, you're going to miss some stuff, okay? If you are not journaling, you are not taking a moment to sit with your own thoughts, to sit with your own feelings, to write down things that your brain keeps repeating to you that it says are important. And if you don't do that, a lot of the time when you write something down physically, you take an actual book, paper, a pen, write it down. It tells your brain that, hey, this thought is out of my head and it's out here in the real world. I can pick up the book at any moment and I can read what I was thinking, what that thought is. So then a lot of the time that thought will leave you alone. Your brain won't keep repeating the same thing over and over and over again because you've written it down. I want you to take a little time every day to journal. I want you to sit with your journal for a little bit. I want you to do your date, your time, your level of anxiety, and then write down what is going on with you, what bubbles to the surface. Whatever is top of mind, put that down. When you do that, you are taking care of the thing that is like the most important, the thing that your brain is stuck on. All right. So if you do that on a consistent basis, what will happen is your brain will know, hey, we got journaling time coming up. I don't have to keep disturbing her with this thought. I can just wait till we write in the journal and she'll be paying attention. Okay. Um, when you're doing your date, your time, that is to tell you exactly when things are happening. I want you to do this first thing in the morning and right before you go to bed. But any time during the day that you want to journal is great because if you are writing it down, if you're saying, hey, I am feeling this sort of way at this particular time, and then that becomes a pattern, now you'll know what things trigger you because what happened before that time, or is it the time, is it the day, is it the particular hour that you're writing in that is a trigger for you. You'll be able to figure out the clues. You will be able to research your own trauma in real time and be able to figure out what is triggering you in the moment. Okay, so I need you to do that. I need you to be writing in your journal on a consistent basis. Now, your level of anxiety, this is the way I explain this. This is 0 to 10, okay? 0 is no anxiety whatsoever. All is right with the world. Everything is beautiful, okay? Write that down. You need to remember that. You need to remember that there were bright, beautiful, sunny days that you felt good, that this trauma wasn't dragging you under. You need to remember that. You need to have that written down so that you can prove to your brain when your brain, your low traumatized brain says, nothing ever works out, everything is always bad in my life. You can go back. You can go to a specific page, a specific day, and read back to your brain, hey, wait a minute, no, that's not true at all. This was last week. I had a good day. This was a 0 day. I was feeling great. I hadn't thought about the trauma, hadn't thought about the cheating. We were getting along great. I wasn't bringing it up and throwing it in his face. We were getting along. Hey, it's not all bad. And then when you can prove that over and over and over to your brain that, hey, it's not all bad all the time, that part of the trauma gets silenced. It gets pushed down a little bit, a little further away from you so that you can deal day to day. Okay. A 10. A 10 is I want to rip my hair out, tear my clothes off, or I'm screaming down the street naked because I am so anxious. I am so distraught right now. I am having a really difficult time. That is a 10. Okay. Nothing else is a 10. All right. That level of loss of control. I am throwing things. I am screaming and losing my voice. I want to hit him with a car. That is a 10. That is, I have lost control of myself to this trauma in the moment. I cannot gather myself enough not do something crazy. Okay. If you're not doing anything crazy, you're not at a 10. Okay. Just understand that right now. You are not doing something crazy. You are not doing something embarrassing. You have not lost control of yourself. You are not at a 10. So then that's comforting, right? So you can know, okay, well, it's not as bad as I thought it was. All right. Keep that in mind. So write that down before you journal, your date time and your level of anxiety, and then your level of anxiety after you journal. Because what will happen is that level of anxiety will go down. When you have sat there and committed this to paper and focused on your thoughts and felt your feelings, a lot of the time that relieves some of the pressure that you are feeling. So then you feel better. That last look at that level of anxiety will tell you, hey, this worked. And again, we need proof to our brain that the things that we are doing to heal are working, so that our brain doesn't keep on saying, no, this doesn't work and nothing is ever okay. All right, we got to stop it from saying that all the time. Okay. So I want you to start using your journal first thing in the morning, right before you get ready to go to bed. Make it a habit. Self-care. Self-care time. Your deep breathing, if you do that 5 times in a row, it's like a minute. All right. You're taking like 5 minutes out of your day to be able to do your deep breathing. If you do your journaling, I don't want you to go over like 5 minutes. Okay. You can maybe do 10 if you got a lot to say, but I don't want you to write so long that your hand cramps up and you don't want to do it anymore. Okay. If you keep on writing so much, it will be not as attractive to you to be able to write things down. So about 5 minutes is good. First thing in the morning, right before you get ready to go to bed, and any other time in between when you're feeling some kind of way, when the triggers are triggering, go ahead and write in your journal. Okay. If you do this consistently is the key. If you do this consistently, you are going to teach your brain what you want it to do, not to react, not to feel like you are super traumatized and nothing will ever be okay again. You will show your brain that actually it's not as bad as I felt like it is. I know it's pretty devastating. However, this is something that I can get by. Okay? All right. Any questions, comments, thoughts, complaints, anything so far? Let me check over here on the Love Coach Dasha page. If you got questions, absolutely put them in the comments. I want to hear. I am nosy. I want to know what is going on with you. I want to hear what is happening. Okay. All right. So, no questions over there. Good, good. Oh, Angela. Hey, Angela says she yawns when she does her deep breathing. That is one that I do too. I will start yawning. When you do that, you're telling your body, you're actually showing your body how much you haven't been deep breathing, how much oxygen you actually haven't been taking in. So your body starts to yawn to try and get that back regulated. Okay. When you focus on the breathing, your brain is like, oh, hey, I haven't been breathing very well. Let's work on that. And you'll start yawning. So I do that too. Some people get sleepy. Some people get low wired, start feeling more awake. But whatever it does for you, it's going to do something. It's going to make you feel a little bit better. Okay. All right. Thank you, Angela, one of our beautiful moderators in the group. All right. So the next thing that I want you to remember every time we get together, I want you to develop an attitude of gratitude. Okay. I want you to really embrace this. I'm trying to tell you, I have worked on this personally. This is a thing that really changes things. If you are constantly reminding yourself of the things that you're grateful for, there's less room for the trauma. Okay, there's less space in your brain for the trauma when you are constantly trying to remind yourself, hey, I am so grateful for the color green. I am so grateful for blue skies. I am so grateful for the internet. I'm so grateful for big screen TVs. I'm so grateful that I am here on this planet and I live. I am so grateful for my children. I am so grateful for my clothes. I'm so grateful that I have shoes to put on my feet. I am so grateful that I can get my hair done. I am so grateful that jewelry exists. Whatever it is that you are actually genuinely grateful for, I promise you, if you start focusing on those things, all it takes is 17 seconds of a positive thought before your brain will offer you another positive thought. So if you're constantly thinking about, oh, I'm so grateful, I'm filled up, I'm so happy that these things exist in my life, your brain will say, oh, we're playing happy games. Okay, here, this is another thing that you're happy about. Oh, but look, this is another thing to be grateful for right here. It will point things out to you, and it will do it throughout the day too. If you're making this a consistent practice of being grateful, of thinking of things that make you feel grateful, just happy that you are on this planet, it will start to be a habit. Your brain will start to just offer these things up out of the blue. They'll just be like, "Oh, I'm so grateful for that color blue of that car." What I'm saying, I'm glad that is a thing that exists in the world. I haven't ever seen that color blue before. I'm so glad that that exists. you will start to see things on a regular basis that make you grateful. Okay, so work on that. I want you to be doing that consistently. So, right this minute is Thursday. We always do a little Thirsty Thursday. I want you to tell me in the comments what you're grateful for today. What is something that you're like, oh, I'm so glad that I get to experience that. All right. Put that in the comments. Let me know. I am so grateful that the move is finally done. I am so grateful that I've gotten my aunt moved completely into my house so that I don't have to run back and forth to take care of her. I am so grateful that my work hours changed and I'm working days again and not in the evening anymore. All sorts of things that I've been grateful for this week. Lots and lots of changes going on. Change can be scary. Change can be really, really freaky sometimes. However, if you can get an attitude of gratitude going for those things, it's not as scary. It's not as creepy. Okay. All right. Put it in the comments. What are you grateful for? All right. I am grateful that I get to come back and let you know before the full moon. The full moon is tomorrow. Okay. I understand that things might feel a little intense. All right. You may want to argue. You may argue over things that aren't even worth arguing over. I understand how you're feeling. Chalk it up to the moon, okay? Whatever it is right now, the full moon is tomorrow. So if by next Thursday, let's say next Thursday when we see each other again, if next Thursday, that thing that you're thinking of, that speech that you want to make, that point that you want to get across is still important next Thursday, okay, you can talk about it then. Go ahead, feel free to talk to him about it then. But if it's not, you will know that it was the full moon screwing with you, and that's all it was. All right. So in this week, we have to be careful. The full moon is all about releasing things, and sometimes we release too much from inside and start an argument that we didn't intend. The full moon pulls on all the water on this planet, including the water in our cells, so we are affected by it. Okay, it starts to tug on us. It gets us emotionally going. So if this week you are feeling really strong emotions, chances are it's the moon. Don't react to it. Just note it in your journal. Put it down. Say, you know what? This is how I was feeling this week. Let's see by next week if this is still a thing. If it's not still a thing, it was just the moon. Okay. All right. So I'm grateful I can tell you that. All right. Anybody in the comments? Anybody want to tell me anything they're grateful for? Put it down if you're grateful. Oh my goodness. I'm grateful to be back. Nothing worked, man. I was struggling to get back on there. I really was. But I'm back now. So it's all good. All right. So the last thing we always talk about every single time we get together is a doozy. Okay. It's a little bit difficult. And I really want you to hear me on this. Okay. I want you to stop asking him all those questions about the affair, all those questions about the cheating. Honey, stop. Just stop. There's no need for it. I know that your brain is screaming at you saying that, oh, I have to know all of the information. I must know what happened. I've got to have all the details. I've got to know every dirty thing that you did, every thought that you had, every word that you said to her. You do not need to know that. I promise you. I know that it feels like that, but that's just an effect of trauma. All right. That feeling that I gotta know, I need these answers is an effect of trauma. Have you ever felt like that so strongly about other things? No, not really, right? I have to have this explained to me. I must know why this happened. Is your brain's way of trying to cope. It's your brain's way of saying, well, if I have this information, then I'll know, then I will make sure that this never happens to me again. And that is not something that's possible. If somebody is hell bent on deceiving you, they can deceive you. Okay. They really can do it. I am sorry. It's unfortunate. It's part of human nature, though. Somebody is really intent upon it. Knowing all the details from this time will not stop it from happening next time. Okay, that's the first thing. I know that your brain is saying that that's not true, but it's the truth. Okay, nothing that you will glean from the conversations, from the questions that you're going to ask him, is going to help you in your healing. That's not what that's designed to do. That questioning part of your brain is designed to get as much ammunition against this person so that every time you start to get a little close, it lobs a grenade of truth and an answer to a question at you, and it makes you back away from them because, oh yeah, now I remember that you said this really awful thing and it made me feel bad, and I don't really like you very much right now. Let me get some distance. That's what it's doing. That urge to ask a question is not to help you heal. It is not. Do not listen to your brain telling you that it is. It's a lie. All it is trying to do is make you back away from that person by having all these terrible, horrible details filling up your brain on a regular basis. Okay? Now, trust me on this. Just stop asking the questions. As much as you can, stop asking any questions. If you can do this, try this week. It's a little bit more difficult when you're feeling the full moon effects. It is difficult, but try this week to form everything into a statement instead of a question. Do not allow your brain to start asking questions, because even the most innocuous questions, as soon as you start down that path, your brain picks up on it. It's a loop in your brain. So as soon as you ask a question, your brain wants to ask all the questions. Okay. If you let yourself say, well, how was your day, babe? Then that goes into, well, is he lying about this? And let me ask him specific questions about what he did today. And let me ask him about the time that he was at work today and what time he got off and where was he at lunch. It leads down a bad road. Okay. The information that you seek is not going to help you heal. It is going to hurt you more. It is going to cause you to have more of a rift between the two of you than you do now. The more information you gather, the bigger that rift is going to be. Now, be honest with yourself. If that's what you want, you don't even have to do that to yourself, okay? If you're like, I want to have excuses why I shouldn't be close to him anymore, just decide not to be close to him anymore. You don't have to torture yourself with these questions in order to make up your mind to distance yourself. You don't need that, okay? So be honest with yourself if that's what you're trying to do when you ask him all these questions, when you keep talking to him about the affair and what he did and how he acted and what he said and what he did. Just come to grips with it. I don't want to reconnect. I don't want that. I am looking for excuses that keep us separate. Okay. Just understand that about yourself. Stop asking all the questions and torturing yourself and move on. But if you do want to heal, if you really do want to heal, you have to know that these questions are not helping you heal. They are helping you hurt more. They are not your brain's way of trying to heal you up. Your brain is not designed to do that. Your brain is designed to help you survive. It is not designed to help you heal. All right. As many of us can attest, because we've had childhood traumas, we've had other traumas before this. Your brain hasn't helped you heal before, has it? No, it's not what its job is. It is supposed to help you survive situations. And then it is supposed to help you try and avoid those situations in the future. That is all your brain is doing when it's asking you to ask all those questions. Okay. Does that make sense? All right. Hopefully that makes sense. I want you to stop asking those damn questions. Okay. I need you to do that. I need you to stop torturing yourself for no reason. It's not necessary. Okay. All right. So that's all the basics. That's the basic stuff. I got a little bit more to talk to you about. Since it is the full moon, I wanted to talk about releasing. I wanted to talk about like what can you let go of. And since I'm coming back, I wanted to talk to you about the dreams formula. I wanted to tell you what the dreams formula is, and we're going to combine the two. What do you need to know about the dreams formula to release, to be able to move forward and have your relationship work again reconcile, heal, get to a better place. Okay. So you're not really stuck after this infidelity. It feels like you're stuck, but you're just holding on to the wrong things right now. And that's helped by all the people around you. That's helped by television and movies. That's helped by songs. That's helped by pop culture. All of those things are reinforcing to you to hold on to the wrong things. So I want to use the dreams formula to tell you what the things are that you need to release in order to actually move forward, to actually heal. Okay. First thing is the D of the dreams formula, the decision. You have to decide that this is what you want. You have to decide that you are in the market for some love and forgiveness and compassion. Okay. Um, what you need to release about that is the belief that anyone else should make this decision for you. Okay. Nobody else is capable of making this decision for you. This is your life. This is your love. This is your heart. This is your mind. This is what you're going to do going forward. So nobody else can make this decision. The decision can't be handed off to your friends, your family, his family. It can't even be handed off to him. And no, it feels like he should be the person that makes the decision, right? He was the one that made the decision to hurt you like this, so he needs to make the decision to make things better. I understand that. I get where that comes from, but it's not his decision to make. You were the one who was wronged. You were the one who is suffering from this trauma right now, so he doesn't get to make this decision. You do, okay? This is your life and your love. You are the only one who has to live with this decision. Okay. If you are going forward and you are choosing to love and still be compassionate and still be forgiving and trusting of this person, that's something that you have to live with. That's not something that other people have to live with. Other people are afraid and they will tell you about their fears. They don't have to live the life that you're trying to live. So if you make the choice, you have to settle it within yourself that this is a choice that you are making and you are making it for yourself, for your own future. Okay. And if the decision, honestly, people always think that he's the one that needs to do this, but his decision making hasn't been great. Okay. He's been a cheater. He's been lying. Okay. He's not the one to be able to make decisions about your future now, is he? If you choose to move forward with him, you will heal together. You will work on these things. You will get to steady ground. He will earn his way back in. However, you can't leave the decision up to him. That's absolutely impossible to do. You cannot hand it over to him and be successful in healing and reconciling because you are giving up your power when you do that. You're giving up your power to somebody who has already shown that he can't handle it right now. So we've got to take back our power, hold on to that, and decide what we want to do with our lives. Okay. That is the first step of the dreams formula. And the main thing that you need to remember about that is that you don't need anybody's permission to forgive, to love again, to trust again. You don't need that. This is your decision. Okay. All right. Next thing is recognizing the fear speech. Oh, that's the R of the whole thing. And that's where I meet people most of the time when they're dealing with the fear that the trauma builds. Okay. The trauma makes you afraid. It makes you want to be afraid of things. You have to recognize the fearful things that are going on in your head and the fearful things that other people will tell you about this situation, about trying to heal and reconcile. And then again, make up your own mind that you are going to face the fear and move through it. Now, the belief that you need to release is fear means stop. Okay. Fear doesn't mean stop. All right. There are plenty of things that are worthwhile in this world. Most of the things that you're going to want to do, you are going to be unfamiliar with. And so you're going to be afraid to do them. That does not mean stop. I was terrified the first time I ever went live. I was like, oh my gosh, are people going to talk about me? Are they going to come down on me for being a person who stayed and healed? Are they going to even listen to me? Are they going to think that I'm crazy? It's fearful to do things that are brand new to you. That's normal. That's supposed to happen. Something that's completely unfamiliar is going to be something that's fear inducing. That does not mean stop. Just because you are afraid that you're going to be hurt again doesn't mean that you shouldn't have the love that you want, that you shouldn't forgive, that you shouldn't move forward. Okay. Um, Fear isn't a problem, it's a survival instinct. That's it. That's why it's so sharp after this trauma. That survival instinct is kicked on in and it's trying its best to save you. But you don't want to be saved. You want to be loved. You want to love in return. You want to forgive and be forgiven. You want to have compassion and have somebody have compassion for you. You're not trying to be saved. You're not trying to be alone. You're not trying to be by yourself. You're trying to be linked with another person. So the fear um, is based in survival instinct, and that's all about me all by myself. You by yourself. You alone. If you are trying to go for love, that is a connection. That is more than just you. And we can't operate from survival if we are trying to have a happy, loving relationship. Okay. If you're doing something new, your brain is going to react to it. That's just how that works. Any new thing that you do, even if you have had the same kind of job for the last 30 years, okay, but you start a new one, you go to a new company, you're still going to have a little bit of fear. Even though you know your job very well, you have done this for a long time, it is still a new situation. So it's going to be something that scares you. And that's not a bad thing. The presence of fear doesn't mean that your path is wrong. That's what you have to understand the most. The presence of that fear does not mean, oh, I should turn back. No, that's not what it means. It means press forward. It means that you have found something that you feel like, even if I'm afraid, I want to do it. You push forward. You push through the fear. You can feel fear and still move forward. It's fine to do that. People do that every day. That's how you make it through this life. You feel a little afraid and you push on and you keep going with your life. That's how that works. That's the only way you ever heal from this. That's the only way the fear ever freaking stops, is to face the fear and push through it. Okay. Fear means you're doing something you've never done before. And doing something while you're afraid shows your brain how important it is to you. Shows your brain that, hey, I am really doing this thing for myself because I think it is an important thing. Even though I am terrified while doing it, I am still pushing forward and doing it because I feel like it's important. And the things that you think are important, and you show your brain that you believe that they're important, when you do those things, your brain will start to pick up on that and it wants to help you with situations like that. So if you're constantly like, no, this is super important to me. I know I should be afraid, but I'm going to feel the fear and I'm going to do it anyway. That shows your brain how much it means to you. Okay. And just so you remember, fear, other people's fear is your truth. Okay. Other people will see you trying to make this decision, will see you trying to heal and reconcile after infidelity, and they will give you a damn hard time about it. People gave me a hard time. People will give you a hard time, but that comes from their fear. They have been traumatized. They have probably experienced the same thing. They've probably even stayed at some point, but they didn't get to work it out. It didn't work out the way that they planned it to. And so they're afraid that that pain could happen to them again. And so then they transfer that fear to you. And you don't have to take on anybody else's fear. Just because they're afraid doesn't mean that you have to be that same level of afraid. It doesn't mean that you have to hide from this. Okay. All right. You gotta, you have to release other people's fear. That is absolutely necessary because people will try and hand it to you. You have to release it, let it go, understand that it does not belong to you, and let it go back home where it belongs. Okay. Evaluating the why. All right. The why is the thing. Most women feel like if they can just figure out why this happened, then this will never happen again. Um, and the belief that you need to release is the belief that this happened because of you. This did not happen because of you. Okay? He did not cheat because of you. That is not the case. That is never the case. When somebody does something wrong, they do something wrong from what is going on inside of them. Yeah, there might be circumstances. Sure, fine. But that does not mean that it was because of you. It was because something was hurting inside of them. People hurt people. Okay, when hurt people, when they are hurting, when there is something inside of them that is wrong, that is out of place, that is sore, and they can't do anything about it, they lash out, they do things that hurt the people around them. We do it too. When you have been hurt with this trauma, you're hurt, so then you want to lash out at him, right? You want him to be hurting because you're hurting. It's the same exact thing. That's where he was. That's what happened that made this happen. That is the why. He was hurting. You cannot believe that this is because of you. Okay. His decision reflected his own internal state. That doesn't reflect your worth. That's not the same thing. His internal state has absolutely nothing to do with how much you are worth. You are worth the world, girl. You are worth the world. You are a woman who loves and wants to forgive and is compassionate and understanding. Okay. Yeah. You are the world. All right. There is nothing wrong with you. But something inside of him made him think that this terrible idea of hurting the person who was so good to him, hurting that person made sense. That's got to be pain, right? There's nothing else logical that would make you think that that was a good idea besides being in severe pain yourself. All right. Relationship issues that you have don't equal responsibility for what he has done. You don't take responsibility for his actions. He should not take responsibility for your actions. We all are supposed to take our own responsibility for what we have done. So don't try and take his responsibility away from him by blaming yourself. Okay, gotta release that. Um, you release, and you have to release the idea that knowing everything will prevent you from being hurt. That's not a realistic idea. People hurt all the time. Okay, people get hurt all the time, and especially in love, when you are doing something that is so vulnerable, opening yourself up to somebody else, that is a thing that can get you hurt. That does not mean don't do it. Again, being afraid of getting hurt does not mean you should not put yourself on the line, that you shouldn't go for love at every turn. Okay. That's not what that means. It just means that, yes, things have gone wrong. Yes, they have. And you need to push through something. But if you know everything, that does not make you protected against this happening again. You could have known everything beforehand and it still wouldn't have stopped them from cheating. People cheat. If somebody is bent on deceiving you, chances are they're going to be able to deceive you. Okay? You finding out all this information and feeding yourself all this information and torturing yourself about it is not going to help you feel any better. Okay? Few things about that. You can know everything and still get hurt. Love always carries a risk. There is always the risk of getting hurt because you are being completely vulnerable and open with somebody else on this planet. Even if you make it through and you both make it through like 70 years together, okay, eventually one of you will die and there will be pain. So that's impossible to avoid. There's no reason to believe that your love shouldn't carry any risk because it does. And it's supposed to. That's what makes it so valuable, that it can end. It will end. But in the meantime, you got this. You got to experience love and joy and connection with another person. That's good enough. You don't have to love for the sake of never being hurt. You can love just for the sake of loving all on its own. And that's worth it. Okay? Um, Understanding all that helps you move forward. It doesn't make you invincible to pain in the future, but it helps you to move forward. It helps you not be paralyzed by the fear. and able to actually get somewhere, you know? Let's see, what else? I wrote down you're not looking for a perfect answer. You're looking for enough understanding to move forward. I know it feels like you're looking for a perfect answer, right? I know it feels like your brain is like, no, I must have the answers. But you're actually just looking for enough information to be able to move forward and feel like you're right for moving forward. Let me tell you, you are right for moving forward. It doesn't matter why he did this. It doesn't matter what your reasons are for staying. You are okay to move forward with this process just because you want to. Okay. Allowing the healing is the next step of the dreams formula. Is the A. And you have to actually let down the walls and let yourself heal. You have to actually choose the healing when it's presented to you. So the belief that you need to release is that healing is just going to happen. Healing happens with time. No, it doesn't. Healing happens with practice. Healing a wound happens with wound care. Okay. I am a nurse. I was a nurse for 25 years. I am telling you, you need some wound care for a wound. Okay. It doesn't just heal all on its own. That's a good way to get an infection. Okay. We need to care for the wound. We need to get it straight. We need to cover it. We need to keep our grubby little fingers out of the wounds and allow ourselves to heal. Um, Healing isn't passive, it's a series of choices. It is moments where you choose, do I trust or do I mistrust? I don't have to trust him. I don't have to. It makes every bit of sense in the world if I didn't trust him. However, I don't want to live a life with this person where I'm always mistrusting. So I'm going to choose to trust. It's the moment of, do I feel compassionate about this or do I get angry about this? Do I connect or do I push myself away and experience more distance? It's all of those things. It's choices in the moment. Each time it comes up, if it's possible to choose something that is more loving, more forgiving, you choose that thing in the moment. Okay. If you keep choosing the pain responses, you stay in pain. If you choose the path of healing, the healing path, you will start to heal. Even if it's uncomfortable at first, it's uncomfortable. It is. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and tell you that it's not. When it is a choice of trusting him or not trusting him, he went out with his friends, and do I trust him to come in on time? Do I trust him to even be out by himself? You have to make the choice in favor of the life you want to live. I want to trust him. I am going to practice trusting him now. I am not going to believe the worst of him. I'm going to believe the best of him. As you're doing that consistently, what happens is your brain starts to recognize that, hey, you keep trusting him, and hopefully he keeps showing you that he can be trusted, and then it's not scary anymore. Okay, that's how that works. If you practice it, it won't be so scary. So we've got to choose every moment to allow the healing wherever it is. Healing is not something that is given to you, it will not be handed to you on a silver platter. Please, please release that belief. He will never be able to do something that says, here, honey, here is your healing. Here, let me give you your healing, and so you can be all healed up. He'll never be able to do that. That is not reality. The healing is going to come from inside you. And if you are focused on doing the things that a healed person would do, if you were all healed up, would you trust him? Yeah, right? So we got to practice doing that now. We've got to practice being the person that we want to be. It's not going to be given to you. It's something that you're going to work on, that you're going to pay attention to, that you are going to bring from inside yourself. Okay. Let's see. Where am I? You're already here. You have the capability of loving and forgiving and trusting again. You already have that capacity because you're here listening to me. If you didn't have that capacity, if you weren't that type of person, you would not be listening to me, honey. Yeah, because I am all about love and reconciliation. So if that weren't the path that you would really want to be on, you wouldn't be here. So I believe in you. I think that you have the capability, and I think that you can do it if you so choose. Um, the voice that is telling you not to, the voice that is telling you, no, you shouldn't heal, you should never open yourself up to this person again, that's the fear. That's the fear speech inside your head, built from trauma, which is not really you. And you're not going to be yourself. You're not going to be your most authentic self if you're constantly listening to the fear, right? So I want you to go ahead and allow yourself to heal. Got to allow yourself to put those walls down and get close again. The healing is already inside you. It just has to come through you. That's all it is. You have to let it out and let it see the daylight. Okay. M is for managing the future feelings. Um, you're going to have triggers. That's what the future feelings are going to be. You got to manage those. This happened automatically as soon as the trauma happened. Your brain started developing triggers as soon as this happened. As soon as you found out about it, your brain started creating these triggers. So if his phone goes off, or if he leaves the room with his phone, or he doesn't have tracking on his phone, or he doesn't have a password that you can open his phone, those triggers start to get built up. It starts to tell you that, no, he can't be trusted. I need to be afraid. I need to go ahead and keep being scared of this person because they can hurt me. The thing is, you are going to feel those triggers. Those are real. They were instantly created as soon as the trauma happened. And people believe so desperately that in order to heal, in order to feel better, in order to reconcile the relationship, they can't ever feel triggered again. They feel like when they have triggers, that means that they haven't really done any healing and it's not real. Whatever progress that they have made, it couldn't possibly be real because my trigger still exists. That's not fair. It is something that was already created inside your brain before you even tried to start healing. It happened the moment that this trauma set in for you. So those triggers are going to be things that you still uncover as you're moving forward. That's going to be the thing that shows you the triggers, is moving forward and trying to forgive and trying to understand and trying to have compassion and loving again and trusting again. That's what's going to bring the triggers to the surface. You don't even know that they're there until you actually try to go against one and it starts to scream at you. So we've got to understand that triggers are not proof that we're failing. That is not what they are. They were made the instant that this trauma happened. So your actions thereafter are not creating the triggers. You just happen to be uncovering them. They're not proof that you're failing at anything. You're actually doing the work when you keep on finding triggers and you keep uncovering them and trying to work on them. That doesn't mean that you're failing at all. It means that you're succeeding. It means that you have moved forward from where you were and now there's a different fear to be conquered. That's what that means. It's not a failure on your part at all because you still have triggers. Um, Triggers are reminders that your body's still healing. Again, this trauma is physical. I know that he didn't physically do something to you. He cheated on you. So it feels like it's just a mental thing. But still, your brain is in your body too. So this is a physical thing that is happening. Triggers happening is a physiological response. It's something that is actually created in your brain and that you feel in your body. You can tell, your hands shake, that your palms get sweaty, your feet get sweaty, your heart races out of your chest. That's physical. That is a real thing. So your body is still healing, your mind is still healing after this trauma, and that's just a sign that that's what's happening. You don't control whether they show up. You don't control what they do. All you control is whether you show up, whether you are working on your own triggers, whether you are trying to heal or not. You can't control what they are doing, and trying to control what they're doing will trigger you again. Okay. It will not make the triggers better. It will make them worse because your idea about what they should be doing may or may not be in alignment with what they're doing. But the second you stop checking in with you and start checking in with them, then your body says, oh, but that's the danger. And then it starts alarming again. And so you can't even focus on what they're actually doing. You just think that they're a danger. You think that they've done something wrong. So we've got to settle ourselves. We've got to decide that we're going to show up for our own healing. And if the relationship doesn't work out after that, okay, fine. That is, it's a possibility. All right. But most women that I've seen, if they work on their own triggers, if they get themselves together, a lot of the time that heals the whole relationship. It fixes a lot when you go ahead and work on your own part. Constantly working on your own part. So you're not trying to eliminate the triggers, you're trying to handle them. You're trying to deal with them in the moment, deal with the response that your body is producing because of that traumatic event. Your power is in your response, not not the feeling of the trigger, because that's a very powerful feeling. It seems like that's super important, but that's not where your healing lies. Your healing is in the response that you create. All right. Oh, alarm going off. Shut up. And then each time you handle a trigger differently than your body and your brain are intending for it to. Like if you're triggered by his phone going off, and you decide that you are going to go for a walk, take some deep breaths, drink some water, go for a drive, go buy yourself a treat every time that phone goes off and you feel triggered, instead of confronting him and starting an argument and feeling bad all night. When you handle those differently, consistently, you are building your own safety inside your own head. You are showing your body and your brain that even though you do feel triggered, you feel it. It's there. It's a physical feeling going on in your body. You can feel it, but it doesn't have to ruin you. It doesn't have to run your entire night. It doesn't have to ruin your whole week. It is just a feeling, and you can build safety by not responding in the way that your pain and your fear wants you to respond. Okay. The goal isn't to ever be triggered. Okay. That's a ridiculous goal, because you're going to be triggered by things that don't have anything to do with the cheating in your future. Okay. I get triggered by things that have absolutely nothing to do with him now, but learning how to heal those triggers, learning how to handle them, can still apply to things now. Okay. Um, the goal isn't to ever be triggered, it's to know that you can handle it. That even if you do get triggered, even if you are afraid, even if your heart is pounding out of your chest, you are still capable of handling that situation, handling that fear, and moving forward anyway. Okay. And the last part, the S, seeking support. Oh, that's the last step of the dreams formula. The belief that you need to release is that you need to do this all by yourself. Okay. I know what it's like to do it. I'm mostly by myself. I did have a couple people who did help me, but for the most part, I thought that I had to keep it secret and not tell people and just hold it all inside. And that sucked. Okay. That was not helpful to healing. It was so much better when I sought a little bit of support and I found somebody who was like, okay, he cheated. All right. I understand, but you love him, right? I was like, yeah. And she was like, okay, so just be together. Never heard that before. I am trying to tell you, before that moment, before this particular woman stopped my little rant and was like, we'll just be together. Yeah, okay, yes, it's hard. Yes, he did something wrong, but you're going to be together for a lifetime and you're both going to do things wrong. So you could just forgive him and you could just move on and you could just be together. Nobody had said that before that. Okay. So you need to release the belief that you need to do this all on your own. You need to release that belief that you need to hide this and keep this to yourself and just try and heal all by yourself. You don't need to do that. That is ridiculous. We need help with healing. We need people to support us in our healing. We need things that are outside the fear speech inside of our own head to help us to process this. So healing alone just makes the fear even louder. It makes it feel like you're all alone in this echo chamber of terrible, terrible thoughts. And then even when you look on the outside, it's other people saying the exact same thing that your thoughts are saying. So we are amplifying the fear by not having somebody that we can depend on to have our back, to give us some support. The right support will help you to regulate your nervous system, because that's again what is going on. Your nervous system is dysregulated. When you have been through a trauma like this, your body is off from where it should be. And so we've got to learn how to re-regulate, how to calm ourselves back down, how to center again, and get ourselves back under control if we want to be okay. Okay. And not all support is helpful. Okay. Some people will just feed you a whole bunch of fear. If you've got somebody who keeps on feeding you fear, who keeps on talking to you about why you should be afraid and why you shouldn't go forward with this relationship, that is not support. That is more fear speech that you need to overcome. Okay. That's what that is. So we need to let that go, listen to safe, grounded voices, not fear-based ones, not people who are totally afraid and freaking out and amplifying what's going on in your own head. um, Community matters, but the right community is going to matter even more. That's why I created the Love After Cheating Facebook group, so that you can come in and you can be around other women who are doing the exact same thing that you are, and who are not telling each other, oh girl, you should just leave him, you shouldn't be with him, you're being a doormat. Nobody's saying that in my group. Okay, so if you are looking for a community to join, to be able to talk about this, come join my Love After Cheating group. Excellent group of girls in there, over 6,000 strong, who will help you to figure this out. Okay. Um, and let's see. The support is going to accelerate your healing. It's going to make it easier for you to do so. So you don't need to do this alone, but you do need to have the right people around you in order to do it with somebody else. Okay. So if you're feeling stuck right now, it's not because you're broken. There's nothing wrong with your brain. You are reacting exactly how your brain and your body were designed to react in the case of a trauma. That is perfectly fine, but that's not where you should unpack and live. I don't want you to stay stuck there. Um, your body, there's something in you that is asking for healing, that's asking for release. And if you can start to release some of these beliefs, you are going to get to that healing a lot faster, even with the full moon rising. Okay. So, one last thing before I go, I just want to let you know, next month, if you have been having trouble with the trust issues challenge is coming up again. Ladies, we're about to do the thing again. This is the 7th annual trust issues challenge, I think. I think it is. We are talking 5 days, focus on trust, dealing with the triggers, simple guided exercises that you can do every single day that will work on building your trust. Small areas where you can start to trust again and build that safety inside your own brain. So I want you to sign up for that. That's going to be everywhere in the morning. There's going to be links for it everywhere. You're going to see it. Okay, so definitely sign up for the Trust Issues Challenge, or just DM me. If you are catching me right now, DM me for information about the Trust Issues Challenge. 5 days of healing and trusting again after infidelity, to heal, to reconcile, to get your relationship back on track, to get you feeling like you can trust this person again after infidelity. So DM me, trust, and I will tell you all about it. All right. Okay, so I think that's about it. Yeah, I was late getting started. I'm late leaving, but that's about all. All right, that's about all I got for you today. Thank you so much for joining me for the Healing Hour Live. Oh, I forgot. Last thing. I told you those things at the very, very beginning about what you can do to try and mitigate the trauma. The last thing that I want you to remember to try and change this traumatic response inside your brain is to do your affirmations. Every single day, I need you to look yourself in the mirror, look yourself in the eye on the camera, and say an affirmation to yourself. And not just say it like you mean it. Say it like it's the most true thing you have ever heard or said before in your life. And Experience that. Put it in your brain that you really believe that thing about yourself and keep repeating it all through the day. When you've gone through a trauma like this, your brain will tell you that, oh, you're terrible. You're just a sucky person. You were always a terrible girlfriend, and that's why he cheated on you. And there's something wrong with you. And he never really loved you. You're not lovable. It's a whole thing. All right. So I will leave you with one of my favorite affirmations. I am feminine. I am beautiful. I am desirable. That was a good one for me, all right? Because that was a big thing for me. I was like, well, if you're cheating on me, that must mean that I'm not desirable. No, no, it's not that. Again, something within him, not within me. But it was helpful to say over and over again that I am feminine, I am beautiful, and I am desirable. Okay, so I want you to take that with you this week. Say it over and over again. Make it your mantra this week, and come back next week and tell me how you feel about it. All right. All right. That's it, y'all. Thank you so much for joining me for the Healing Hour Live. I'm so glad to be back. Few glitches, but I'm glad to be back with you, and I will not be leaving any other time soon. We've got a few weeks left until the Trust Issues Challenge, so I want you to join me for that. Keep an eye out for the link for that. Otherwise, I love you, and I'm so, so proud of you. You are trying to go for unconditional love, and not many people are strong enough to do that. Not many people even consider doing that. So I want you to feel good about yourself. I want you to pat yourself on the back and tell yourself that it's all right and that you are doing the good thing, that you are making a good decision for yourself, putting more love out into the world, putting more forgiveness out into the world. I think that's always a good thing. Even if you were hurt in the process, it does not matter, because what your contribution to the world is more love, more understanding, more forgiveness. You're going to be hurt sometimes. Everybody's going to be hurt sometimes. It only matters what you do about that. And if you choose to put more love out into the world after you've been hurt, that love is strong, girl. That love is strong. All right. All right, y'all. That's about it. Mwah. I love you, and I will see you again next Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Healing Hour Live. Bye, y'all.